Hello, welcome back to SiggyTube. Now this session is all about something that has bugged me for a long time, okay? The infamous wah pedal. I shall explain as we go through. The wah pedal is an amazing tool actually, but it's something that is often mistreated and just sounds awful, terrible thing. I think that Jimi Hendrix was probably the one that really launched the wah pedal into being, you know, I almost think it's a must-have for guitarists. But I shall explain what the thing that really frustrates me is. In our last video, we looked at, or started to look at, how we shape our sounds and, you know, developing our own tone, etc., whether that be on guitar or whatever. Well, this is a kind of the next step onwards, but it's looking at rhythm primarily and applying this particular pedal against what we're doing. Now, you could say the same thing could be applied against a keyboard and modulation and things like that. It's all about expression of sound and how you can, you know, make things very expressive when you're playing elements within solos and so on. Do excuse my terribly 1950s shoes. I saw them and couldn't resist. So what is it that really frustrates me and drives me mad about the wah pedal and wah pedal playing in particular? Well, let's switch it on and I'll give you a clue. This one, by the way, is a Stuart Castledine wah pedal that's just been put in a normal Jim Dunlop case. Now, this is the thing that drives me mad. When someone gets a wah pedal for the first time, they do this. Basically, this becomes a stomp box. Now, there's nothing wrong in that per se, and again, sometimes, you know, that can be used to good effect, but it's the fact that it's so much more than being able to do the stomp box. Now, as a drummer, this foot of mine is very important because it's my kick drum. Now, I suppose because I was a drummer first, the wah pedal kind of drew me in because as a drummer you would play patterns with your foot. So if I went boom, 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 we could apply that to a wah pedal. But you see, the thing is that there's so many different types of percussion elements that you can start adding with this. Now, when you start thinking about this as a kick drum, you can start getting some really exciting interactions between what you're doing with your fingers and the way it responds, okay? So I'm going to drop the sound a little bit because you can see that's quite distorted. That's because I'm driving it quite hard through a humbucker there. I'm going to also use my compressor again, and this time the compressor, a bit of hiss there on the compressor, but again, I explained it in the last video that we often get a bit of hiss coming through the compressor. Now, listen to that. That wonderful hiss that comes off a wah pedal. Now, as you get the control of that, you'll find the midpoint. Again, we talked about sweet spots of sound. this is a really cool thing, not just from a guitarist point of view, but we're starting to think about coordination. And if we're thinking about coordination, we're thinking about where the beat lies. And if we're thinking about where the beat lies, the fact that this is, as I say, your bass drum pedal, means that you can do very exciting things against the beat as well. So if I was to go, put the guitar back in, so I'm going to play a downstroke with my guitar. So pretty much anything goes in terms of maybe how you decide, okay, so I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, but I'm going to go 1 and 2 and 3, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. As a drummer, we count things as subdivisions. We start off, and I think it's a really good thing for all musicians. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 8 notes, and then for 16 notes, 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E. If we can start doing 16 notes with this, 1, 2, 3, 4, and rocking it backwards, hear that? See? And we can make some much more complicated patterns there. So I'm doing 16s there, but I'm not rocking it in the same kind of linear way. I'm rocking it, so I'm doing a little bit of a flurry on the end of it, a 32. Now that immediately becomes something that's very expressive. We're not talking about using it all the time, but you know, if I was to kick my distortion channel in again, it's going to be a bit noisy for a while, and we do that very wah pedal stand on here. See how it responds. Now, interesting thing here, because I have got my compressor in between my wah pedal, it's going into the distortion now, and it's not affecting the distortion in quite the dramatic way that I would like it to. So this is a question of where the compressor is pretty cool on taming the channel of the clean channel, but where I'm going into the distortion channel now, you see it's much more responsive with the compressor out. Again, it's that idea of controlling your sound and doing something with the sound that, you know, is responding to what you want and how it works for you. So this is cool because it's thinking about rhythm, but it's also thinking about the tonality. Now, another thing that people often talk about is this using a wah pedal as a filter. I really like using it as a filter. What do I mean by that? Well, leaving it all the way up or all the way down or anywhere in between. So this gives us a texture. So that's the full back sound, you see? See the way that that's basically almost singing to me. Every single position of that wah pedal gives us a musicality. All of those sounds are really musical, and they again can be part of your tonal palette in exploring how your sound can go and be. So you can see how diverse the wah pedal itself is. Now, you can think of that as being an expression pedal as well on a keyboard and doing other things with it. You could be opening up a filter on a keyboard sound, or you could be controlling some kind of After Effects, maybe the delay or whatever. I mean, again, it's this notion that the things are being controlled in time with what you're doing. We're going back to the 1960s and 70s. Wah pedals really paired up nicely with univibe types of sounds, of phasers or flanges and things like that. I've got a univibe sound in the board here. I'll put it in so you can get the idea of what it does. See that kind of swirling pseudo Leslie sound. See the way that... Lovely. But interestingly enough, just in me doing that, I'm hearing another sound that I've not had before. I'm just, this is not a sound I would necessarily normally go for. I just got my volume off a little bit. Again, that's a sound I've never ever, in all my days of playing, I've not discovered that sound. I really like that. That is the type of thing that instantly could give me the idea behind working on a track. Because I'm going, do you know what? I like that. Slightly half off on this. And that's exactly the point that I made in the last video about the discovery of sounds. I've got something that's quite exciting. Probably just make a quick picture on my phone of those particular settings of that. It's like, oh, I really like that. And I was just bringing that volume sound in just a little bit there. But this is the point. This is the thing I really want to, put through to people, is that, if you are playing with any different kind of pedal, or using in the way that we were percussively, then think about it creatively. Don't just go back to that, well, I've got a wah pedal and every time I use it I go. It's just boring. You can do a lot more with it. But to become comfortable with that, sometimes it means that you want to give yourself exercises just because you can. So, if as a drummer, I might go boom, 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 boom. So I'm going to do that. On the top of it, I'm just going to play, I'm going to play this chord here. I like this chord. Kind of funky chord. Now, I can hear... Sounds a bit inaccessy. Immediately there's something again there. I'm hearing a bit edgy, isn't it? What would that sound like if I was to add a bit of delay? Let's put a bit of delay in there. Turn the big sky off for a second. Put a bit of delay in. Let's turn this up a little bit. Give myself some more echo. There we go. That's not bad. Here we go then. Turn that up down a bit. One of the things I love about pedals is you can dial in sound. too much, so I'm going to just try a different type of thing. Let's try something that's a bit weird on here. We've got lots of different kind of settings on here. I'm going to go for a rhythmic setting. Straight away, I've got something that is fun. It's playing. I'm playing around with something. Might work, might not. You know, I've got something, and I'm being inspired by the sounds. I'm interacting with the sounds, and this is for me a real paramount thing. Whether you've got one pedal or two pedals or whatever, or even no pedals, it's becoming creative with the sound that you've got and working that into something. So to round up this particular session, if you've got a wah pedal, be creative with it. Don't just go wah 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 wah, but dial in some different things there. If you've got a delay, work against it. See if you can make the wah pedal interact with the distortion. You know, see the difference that the pedals can make, the order that you put things in as well. That's going through a fuzz box, and you can hear the way that comes through is totally different. I quite like the half-cocked kind of sound there, all the way back. So you're very expressive. You can really get expressive with a wah pedal. And just experimenting with all those different types of sound. We're looking at sound, and sound to me is the fundamentals of how a lot of tracks can grow. You know, if you're inspired by a sound, it's going to give you a signature trait. So all good food for thought, hopefully some use to you. If you've got a wah-wah pedal, try different patterns on it. Try some different types of rhythms and see what happens. I'm sure you'll be quite surprised with what you can achieve. Be creative. See you next time around.